This is my 2020 Sega Genesis collection, joined by Misty. Misty. She won't be in the thumbnail this time. Couldn't figure out how to do it. So let's go ahead and soon get started. Well, Misty already left. Dadgummit. But the Sega Genesis is one of my favorite consoles. And I grew up with the Sega Genesis, playing all kinds of games. And I have some of them right here that I had back in the day, but it's not the originals that I had as a child. But I'm trying to collect up mainly the ones that I used to have. But if I can find some cheap games, I'll go ahead and pick them up. So let's get started. I guess we'll show off the console itself. This is the Genesis 2 model, the second model. So I have that one. That's the one that I grew up with, so I wanted to get that one back. And I love the controller. Fantastic controller. Very, very clicky. Fantastic controller. Yes, I said that twice. It's just a fantastic controller. It really is. Oh, I said it 3 times. First off, we'll go with Sports Talk Baseball. MLB Sports Talk Baseball. 500 pro players based on 1991 stats. I'm not into sports, but I do have sports games. So, there you go. Next is Tecmo Super Baseball. So, there you go. Next is RBI Baseball 3. I actually wouldn't mind getting 1 and 2, and I think there might be a 4th one as well on Genesis. Since I have 3, I wouldn't mind getting the others. I don't think they're that expensive at all. I may be wrong about that. I'm not so sure. John Madden Football Championship Edition from '93. Championship team since 1966. And this is a big box. And it comes with a big manual. I really don't want to open it up, but I guess I will. The manual's got some writing on it from the previous owner. That's fine, I guess. That's not going to come off. But the manual's huge. Nowadays, we don't get manuals for video games anymore unless it's some kind of collector's item that you pay a lot of money for. Then you get a manual. NFL Football 94, starring Joe Montana. This is false advertisement. What I mean by that is I have 95 in there. It's supposed to be 94. So I got to get the cartridge from 94, and I'll just have 95 by itself separately. And I haven't done it yet, but I have 24 Sega Genesis games total. Next is EA Sports presents Bill Walsh College Football. So, there you go. Next is College Slam. There's going to be some slamming, alright. I love the artwork, the artwork of the football with teeth crushing the goal in its mouth. That's pretty cool. Next is PGA Tour Golf 2. See if I can find the year on here. Nope, can't find the year. If it's on the tour, it's in the game. So there you go. EA Sports. It's in the game. I remember that in tons of videos. In tons of video games, I would open up with EA Sports. It's in the game. Sega Genesis 16-bit cartridge. Of course it is. This is Columns. It's the Sega Genesis version of Tetris. I haven't been showing the backs, I know. I don't care for sports titles, so I'll show off the back of this one. It's basically Tetris. This one next is Lemmings. Lemmings. I don't know how to say that. Do my best. So, there you go. I have that one. I haven't tried this game out. I played Columns just a little bit, but not too much. Haven't played none of the sports titles. Normally I'll say which of the games I have played and not played. I don't know where my mind is right now. Next is Vector Man 2. Fantastic game. Awesome side-scroller shooter. I need to get the first one as well. I got this one wrapped up in some kind of wrapping and put some tape to help protect it. And of course I dropped it, why not? Next I'll go ahead and do this loose cartridge of Primal Rage. I have it in a Ziploc bag. I don't remember what that game is about, but I do remember playing it. Next is Busby, side-scroller, action-adventure platformer. This is pretty cool. On the inside, it's got a comic book, and it's like some backstory and comedic stuff on Busby. Interesting character. Busby is actually still around in current generation games, but they kind of changed it up to like a runner series. Next is Busby 2. Of course, continued the same thing with this one. This one comes with a comic book and backstory and stuff on Busby the character. I mean, it's awesome when they used to do stuff like that for video games. But, yeah. I love the classic Busby games. I have not played the updated games yet. Next is Tazmania. Very interesting game. Side scroller, of course. Really good game. Check it out for sure, especially if you're a fan of Looney Tunes or even just Taz. Really good game, especially if you like side scrollers. And there's an action adventure platformer puzzler. Next game is a game I played a whole lot as a child. Love this game. Rocket Knight Adventures. He's basically a rat wearing armor with a sword and a jetpack. Awesome side scroller, action adventure platform puzzler, if I didn't say that already. Highly recommend this game. And they actually brought this series back in digital form. I think it was on the PlayStation 3, and I don't remember exactly what else, but I think they titled that game Rocket Knight. I can't remember exactly, but I downloaded that and it's actually not bad. Next is Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse. There is a sequel to this. I haven't got it yet, but I do want to get it. This is an awesome action-adventure side-scroller, puzzler, platformer, all that stuff. Really good game. They actually went back and remade this game, and you could digitally download it on PlayStation 3, Xbox One, Xbox 360, and all that stuff. But I think the only way you can get it through Xbox One is you have to download it on the Xbox 360 first, and then you can convert it over to the Xbox One since it's backwards compatible with it. Fantastic game. This is the original. So good. Definitely recommend that. And I can't remember the title of the sequel. I don't remember the title. Never own it. I do want to get it. Next is one of my favorites. I grew up with playing this game for sure. Sonic the Hedgehog. Fantastic action-adventure, side-scroller, puzzler game. Really good. Classic. And then, of course, Sonic Adventure 2, which introduced Tails. A co-op buddy, I guess you can say. Player 2. Don't really recommend playing him as Player 2. It kind of sucks. But, fantastic game. Next is Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Another fantastic Sonic game. This one introduced Knuckles, and a little bit of a spoiler, Knuckles is a villain in this game. And also, I think this is the game that also introduced Super Sonic and the Chaos Emeralds. Good game. It's also a side-scroller, action-adventure, platformer, puzzler, all that stuff. Next is Sonic the Hedgehog Spinball. They did something different with this one. It still is a side-scroller, action-adventure, platformer, puzzler. It still is that. But it also is a pinball game mixed in there also. So, very interesting. Pretty good. And there's some more Sonic games, but I don't have them, but I do want to get it. I think it's called Sonic 3D Blast. I want to get that one. And there's one called Sonic and Knuckles. And what was interesting about Sonic and Knuckles is that you can take the cartridge. There's this thing on top of the cartridge. You can flip it open. And you could take, I think it was Sonic Adventure 2 or the first one, I can't remember. You could stack the cartridge on top of the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge, and it becomes like a brand new game, and that was pretty sweet. But I don't have those right now, but do want to get them. And also they came out with a Dr. Robotnik game as well. I want to get that too. Next is Shaq Fu. Not Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn, but it's just normal Shaq Fu. This one is very, very different. It's nothing like Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn. This is a fighter, like Mortal Kombat style fighter. Very different from Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn, but still a pretty good game, especially if you're a fan of Mortal Kombat. Speaking of Mortal Kombat, last game of my collection, Mortal Kombat the original, and I also want to get Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 as soon as I possibly can. Another good game, especially if you're a fan of Mortal Kombat. Way to go. Alright, that's my 2020 Sega Genesis collection. I have added some games to it since I first done this collection. I plan and can't wait to add more to it. Thank you so much. Alright, bye.